Okay. Please remain standing for singing. You may be seated. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, November 16th, and it is a B day on your schedule. Today's quote is from Mitch Albom. All endings are also beginnings. We just don't know it at the time. Today for lunch is Australian chicken, and now we have a senior presentation by Denasia Montgomery.
Hey guys. Okay. Yay. Okay. Okay. I'm going to tell you about the most underrated sport at SEM, bowling. You may be thinking, why would you want to bowl as a sport when you can do it for fun? Or you may be thinking, we have a bowling team? Yes, and I'm undeniably dedicated to bowling, and have been for as long as I can remember. My obsession with this sport started when I was a wee little Nasia. Although I was relatively tall for an 8-year-old, I was optimistic about everything the world offered, whether it was a new hairstyle, a new language, a new book, or a new game to play. As a child, I would spend lots of time with my great-grandmother, Doris. My grandma was the best bowler at Volker Lanes, which is where she would bowl right over on Amherst Street. She never let her age hinder her ability to bowl, as she had her own ball, rag, bag, and shoes that she would carry with her while she took the bus to Volker's. Just to remind you, my grandmother was a frail woman, but would not let that stop her from getting her supplies to Volker's. When we arrived, everyone knew her by her name, and her league would be waiting there for her with the utmost respect and admiration, as she was one of the oldest and experienced on the team. I would watch her play for hours and see the rituals she would do before she even rolled the ball down the glazed lane. I enjoyed the sound of the ball rolling down the lane smoothly and perfectly hitting all the pins with grace. This is when I thought, I freaking love bowling. My great-grandmother taught me how to be dedicated to bowling and to love what I do. She was never arrogant towards the other teams and was always confident in her skills, as they never let her down. I loved it so much that I begged my mother to let me have my 9th birthday party at a bowling alley. I invited family and friends and was beyond excited to bowl in front of everyone. However, I was in for a surprise when I turned out to be terrible at it. This was my first time bowling, and I thought it would be just like the Wii game. Wrong. I rolled my ball right down the gutter and ended up making that big boom boom sound after you practically drop it into the gutter. Although this was terrible, my mom stood there and cheered me on with a, "Woo, you go, Nene!" as it did not hit any pins. Not a single one. I then begged my mom to ask the staff to put the bumpers up and to save myself from embarrassment. I remember my uncle, who learned from my grandmother, taught me how to place my hands and where to stand, which I later learned was crucial to the sport. We then sang happy birthday with a birthday cake that came from Wegmans right near Volker's on Amherst. I paused my bowling into my freshman year of high school at Mount Mercy Academy. I was 13 years old and ready to explore new things with my friends. Some of my closest friends at the time, Caleb Petrikevich, Paige Lapidat, and the twins Jenna and Paige, encouraged me to join the team as no one else would besides 4 juniors and 1 sophomore. I remembered my love for bowling and signed up for the team. Through the winter season, we had games every Tuesday and Thursday and rode the bus together and back. I became close with my teammates across all grades, and we had a strong bond and determination, even though we lost almost every game. By the season's end, we reached all Catholics, and I played with the varsity for the first time. As quarantine approached during my freshman year, my great-grandmother, who was the catalyst for my obsession with bowling, was slowly getting sicker and losing her love for bowling. In May of 2020, my grandmother passed away. This is when I knew I had to continue on with bowling through the rest of high school. I was a part of the bowling team my sophomore year when I transferred to SEM. When I joined, I knew I had to remember my grandmother in some other way. I told my mom that I needed to buy my own ball, rag, and shoes out of respect and remembrance for my grandmother. But my best year was my junior year, as I was on the varsity bowling team with Cassidy, McKenna, Anvita, and our captain, Danny. While we may have lost almost every single game, we still stuck to our traditions on the team. Our 1 clap for strikes and 2 claps for a spare was an integral part of our team. We became one when bowling began, and would lean on each other for what to do next when we had the desire to succeed. I learned my competitiveness is important even if you do not do your best during every game. Our team would constantly aid to my reasons of why I loved bowling so much. Being on the bowling team at SEM taught me how to work with other people I have never spoken to before, which I realized would be an important part of communication and life, as college is right around the corner. All in all, I want to express to everyone, even underclassmen, that doing things that you may think is embarrassing is so worth it. It's okay if your sport is not as popular as the new thing, or you want to try something that opposes your friend's aesthetic. Whether it's running for a position, which I have done, both won and lost, starting your own club, which I have also done, or joining the bowling team. You will remember that somewhat embarrassing thing forever, good or bad, but you'll be glad you did it. That's it.
Thank you, Nasia. Okay, instead of advisor today, sophomores, you'll have a class meeting in the study hall. Any faculty announcements? Student announcements?
Hi everyone, just another announcement. Finally for seniors, we're doing the superlatives during advisory, so check your email. We're going to be sending out the sheet, like the Google form, at the beginning of lunch, and then people from yearbook will be walking around if you have any questions in your advisories. Remember to put thought into them, and thank you.
We actually have a bunch of community service announcements. So the first one is the giving tree is now up. It's in the gallery. When you take a tag, just look at the back, check the number, and then sign your name on the sheet that's like right next to it, just so we can keep track of who has what. But yeah, you just buy the gifts for that, and then there should be a table in the chapel for you to put all your gifts on. The warmth tree will also be taking gently used or brand new hats, gloves, scarves, coats, socks, stuff like that. There will also be a box in the chapel for you to put that at. And we're also collecting feminine products, shampoo, conditioner, and soap for St. Francis. There will also be a box for that in the chapel. And then lastly, there is a community service opportunity coming up at Enterprise Charter School, December 17th. You'll be helping them wrap gifts for their underclassmen just so they can give to them for Christmas. There will be a sign-up sheet and a save the date on the community service board outside the library. Thank you.
Any other student announcements?
Good morning. Anais mentioned this yesterday and has sent numerous emails, but just as a reminder to presidents of classes, clubs, and student interest groups, today is the last day to indicate on the spreadsheet that Anais created if you are going to be selling something at Bazaar. So please keep that in mind. The Alumni Association will be creating the sort of table layout at their meeting tomorrow, and so it will be too late to try to sneak in if you decide last minute you'd like to sell something. And just as a reminder, this is essentially like the only opportunity you guys have as classes, clubs, and student interest groups to fundraise. So think about that, but please indicate again if you are going to sell something or not on that sheet from Anais by the end of the day today, and you can see either of us or Mrs. Kimmett with any questions. Thanks.
Picture day tomorrow. Woohoo! Yes, be dressed accordingly. Also, picture day tomorrow. So be dressed accordingly. Take those for both meanings.
Any other announcements? Okay, everybody have a great day and get to class.